We are actually a little too late for the conference, understanding that there are a lot of people who are already stuck on the way and they are supposed to join us. But I would request if we can just start off the conference so that people can gradually join us. So I would request everybody to kindly take the first inner circle so that gradually the other ones can join at the end and do not bother the panel also. लाइव के हाँ डाल दे लाइव Yeah, may I request everybody to kindly take the inner seats, please. Ms. Monica, if I can request you to kindly join us in the inner row, please. So, first of all, a very warm good afternoon, good evening to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. There are plenty of people who are on the way and we can't wait any further. Let them join as per their convenience. There are approximately 15 odd awardees which are supposed to join us, and there are approximately 30 odd delegates who are supposed to join us. So, I mean, already the time is pretty much lapsed. We are at 3:40, it was supposed to start at 3. So let them join as per their details, because we are also live on YouTube as well, and the recording will be available for everybody to get things sorted later. So, first and the foremost, welcome to the inaugural session of the Global Loyalty Conclave Awards. It's an honor and privilege, and thank you so much for taking out time and coming to the occasion to meet us and to greet us at the same time. Honestly speaking, that's a very different platform that we have set this time for the loyalty programs. I mean, it's not one fit for all, but it's meant for different strategies and uses for different industries at the same time. It's a very interesting concept when it comes to. When we initially thought of the Global Loyalty Conclave, there are few people from the industry we pitched in. We got really good response. Everybody wanted to be part of it, one way or the other. And to our knowledge, it was pretty surprising that none of the conferences are taking place in India which are focusing on loyalty. There are a very handful of them which are focusing more on the sales part or the marketing part with a small segment of loyalty. So we thought it's a big advantage and a big space that we can actually take advantage of, and we thought of moving with the Global Loyalty Conclave Awards. I promise you, as the organizers, that the next edition is going to be a much bigger event when it comes to, because we are really looking forward to make it a grand affair. People are a little hesitant initially in the first editions, which is a very common phenomenon everywhere, but that doesn't stop us to make it bigger in the coming years too. So let's start with the conference, and just to give you a brief about the whole idea of the loyalty. I know you already are experts in this field. Technology is growing rapidly. There are multiple channels which are actually working for us. There are segments. Today I came to know about a new segment also called the Influencers Loyalty Program. So this was something quite new to me. I only heard about the channel partners, I heard about the employment part, I heard about the customer part. Influencers is something I would like to dive deep detail with sir also. It was really interesting to know more about that. And of course, I mean, we can't thank much to our sponsors, which is Almond AI. Thank you so much for being part of the event. It's something that really pushes us to do better every time. And we hope gradually all the meetings which were aligned for you at the library were fruitful enough to take things forward. And also I would like to give a special thanks to the team. They have really worked very hard behind the scenes, because pulling out the first inaugural session is always a tough task, and I think these guys have done a wonderful job. So the first session, as you know, is more about the customer loyalty. It says winning customer loyalty in one of innovative programs and personalization strategies for lasting connections. I mean, this is something very much required for any industry. You can't really grow without having the right kind of the customer loyalty approach, I believe. So for this particular session, may I invite on dais Mr. Rajat Mathur, Head Consumer Marketing and Innovations, Dabur, Mr. Nitish Kumar, Senior Manager, Head, Highways and Loyalty, HPCL. I believe Mr. Nitish Kumar is supposed to join us a little later. And Mr. Gaurav Gupta, Assistant Professor, MIT University, to kindly join me on stage, please. Thank you. Please. So first and foremost, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. I would request both of you to kindly give a 1-minute introduction for our people who are watching us live as well as the people who are present here, please. Starting with you, sir.
Yeah, so as you can see, my name is Rajat Mathur. I represent a company called Dabur, which is, I'm sure, a very familiar name. It's a legacy brand and a company. I take care of the e-com first innovations portfolio at Dabur, and I also take care of the hair care category at Dabur. So I joined Dabur about almost 5 years ago, and prior to that I worked in several FMCG and retail companies, including the now defunct Future Group. I've also worked in Shoppers Stop. In both these organizations I've managed their loyalty programs. Shoppers Stop has a very robust program called First Citizens. I'm sure everybody would have heard about that. And Future Group had several loyalty programs cutting across different retail formats, catering to different segments of their customers. So I guess over the course of the discussion, hopefully, I'll share some interesting insights and yeah. So the format is what, interactive?
Yes, yes. It's got to be interactive. Plus, we have certain.
I think that'll be better because let's not keep it one way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was one of the reasons we kept it in a boardroom seating, so that people can actually ask questions. Sure. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Gaurav, and I am on the other side of the spectrum. We have the industry giants, so I come from the academic background. So I just came to know that we come from the same university, Mr. Mayank, and he is pursuing PhD. So it's been a great pleasure to me. I come from MIT University. Before that, I was with Christ University. My research area is totally on the brand management, branding area. I have completed my PhD in that particular stream. I have researched on various branding technique, cultural branding, emotional branding, how they are different and how can be useful for the consumers, right? Having said that, when I just looked at the loyalty conclave and all that, though I will be discussing this thing much in detail, so I did copyright on one of the term, forced brand love or forced brand loyalty. It's not a bit acceptable term, it's a negative connotation of brand loyalty, but yes, like Rajat has said, it could be a good thing that we shall be discussing. Coming from the academic point of view, in today's India is looking forward to match with the industry. So I am also hopeful that this particular event will help me and will help academia to join hands with the industry so that we can move together and build up the strong brands. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. So to start with, it's going to be interesting to talk more about the emerging trends in customer loyalty programs. So there has been a lot of innovations more on personal and digital engagement side. So how do you think it's reshaping the whole industry as such when it comes to the customer loyalty? It is for both of you. Anyone can answer.
Yeah,
I'll go for it first. So I think first and foremost, the word loyalty itself is no longer something which is being accepted by the industry. Back in the day, 10 years ago, maybe even earlier, loyalty programs were, like I've worked in two of the largest retail companies of their respective time, and they were very proud in saying that we have a loyalty program to reward our loyal consumers and everything. Today, that concept has changed completely. While the broad construct and the whole business objective of uh, of rewarding loyal consumers still exists, but it is no longer referred to as a loyalty program. It is now taking shape of what is referred to as an engagement program or a engagement initiative. So the word loyalty has lost its charm over the especially in the recent times. That's one big significant change. The other is the fact that earlier the programs and the engagement mechanics were largely in the form of, let's say, reward points. And I'm referring to, consumers here. Trade, of course, had a very different aspect. But for consumers and customers, they were largely earn and burn kind of loyalty programs. In the context of India, I think one of the oldest one could be, let's say, the airline program of
Air India.
Air India, not Jet came much later, Vivek. Indian Airlines or Air India. So it's very simple construct. You fly more with the airline, you earn points or miles every time you fly. You accumulate, and then once you reach the threshold, you could burn those points into free flights. That's a very traditional, classical thing. Of course, back then it was considered to be the most evolved form of loyalty. But from there to, tiered programs, to co-branded cards, to, let's say, even let's stick to the whole airline industry. You could even use your points for upgrades, for buying certain services while on the flight, or you could buy tickets with part payment of cash and part payment of mileage points and all of that. So all of that has changed. Unfortunately, airlines till date are still following the same format and the same template. They haven't really evolved that much. Of course, now it's far more dynamic, but other than the fact that, besides standalone loyalty programs, you also have coalition programs now, which again is now fairly dated. It's very done and dusted. It's all earn and burn kind of format. Cut to, let's say, 10 years ago, now I'm switching gears to, let's say, something more like a retail kind of industry. Loyalty programs are now, let's say, for example, prepaid subscription-based programs. Take the classic example, and the most successful has been Netflix, right? You pay in advance. Even before watching the first piece of content, you actually pay in advance. In some cases, like, it's a monthly subscription like Netflix. In some cases, it's a lump sum payment. And I remember one specific example. I used to work for Future Group, and in Big Bazaar, we had a program called Big Bazaar Savings Club. You had to pay 10,000 rupees.
And you get some amount extra for that room.
Yeah, so you have to pay upfront 10,000 rupees. Imagine in 2010, 11, that's when the program was launched. I think, it was fairly revolutionary in it at that point of time, that, expecting consumers to pay in advance for the shopping day which they would do over the course of the year.
True.
So, so that was the power of the program, because on payment of 10,000 rupees, you would get 1,000 rupees every month for the next 12 months. So in effect, by paying 10,000 rupees, you were getting 12,000 rupees worth of benefits. Plus there were some additional privileges which you would get while shopping in the store. So that's how, the programs have evolved. From a classical, traditional earn and burn to, a monthly subscription based, or, in some cases, there have been very good examples of coalition loyalty programs as well. I don't know if you've heard of a program called Payback.
Yeah, of course.
So Payback was one of the anchor partners with Future Group and ICICI Bank. They did fairly well in terms of, building a very, very strong base of consumers, cutting across different industries. And of course, since we were anchor partners with them, we had the privilege of accessing their databases across partner formats. again, the value proposition for consumers there was that, you could shop across multiple partners and earn points, and which could be redeemed wherever they wanted within the platform. So that's another format which saw a lot of popularity. I mean, coalitions work quite well in airlines also, in hotels, etc. But somehow in the recent times, we haven't seen any new coalition program getting launched or gaining popularity. I think from a slightly more futuristic perspective, I think the way the trends are emerging, and how consumers are now very, very finicky about not kind of part enrolling into multiple programs. I think somewhere, while it may sound a little bit cliched that instant gratification is something which everybody wants.
Absolutely.
Right? So nobody wants, okay, I will keep accumulating points, and at the end of 6 months or 1 year, I'll reach that threshold where I can redeem. So instant gratification is something which everybody wants, and gamification, milestone-linked rewards, etc., something which is now becoming pretty much table stakes. So that's the current situation, or the current template which seems to be working across multiple businesses and industries. So yeah, so that's what it is from my side.
Great. Before we go to Gaurav, in continuity to what you said, so now we could understand that there are different modes of loyalty. Now it's a traditional mode, then we have an experiential mode, then we have an emotional mode also now. So based on that, and based on the generation gap that we have, what are the main difference between the new upcoming loyalty concepts? Of course, leaving aside on the traditional one, which everybody knows, about the emotional and the what we call the experiential, basically.
So basically, while it sounds that see, it's very difficult to, as a marketer, it's very difficult for me to connect emotionally.
True.
On a one-to-one basis.
True.
On a one-to-many basis, through advertising, through television and various other communication channels, I can reach out and kind of communicate at an emotional level, what you're referring to. But one-on-one, it's very difficult, because I don't know whether that emotion is relevant for the recipient at all or not.
True.
And therefore, that is a big challenge which in my mind is right now unresolved. What most brands are right now doing is they kind of, so they use what is referred to as moment marketing.
Okay.
So people people basically run campaigns on, let's say, Christmas, Diwali, New Year, birthdays, etc., which are special moments where, whether the customer or the consumer is actually expecting some sort of a connect with their preferred brands.
True.
And it's also an occasion for the brands to pass on the benefit of, or creating reasons for them to come back to the brand or to the store. But that said, I think the challenge still remains that, on a mass scale, how do you do it?
Absolutely.
One-to-one, yes, it is still possible on generic events and occasions. But at scale, a little bit challenging. Yeah.
Makes sense. I think that's pretty much well explained in terms of the strategy part too. So over to you, Gaurav. We would like to hear from you as well.
Yeah. So I think it's a true saying that on scale it is very hard to bring up the brand loyalty. I would say that I was just reading about some cultural branding or something. So the companies has to build up the culture with the customers gradually. Like we were discussing about the moment marketing. Moment marketing, yes, it's successful, maybe successful for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and it is required. But if you want a customer become your advocate, and we have to reach till the brand advocacy level, it's not a one-day game. It's a long journey that a brand has to take care. And somehow I feel as a customer, or even as a academician also, when we look at the different research level, that today's companies are in a rush of the valuation, and they want to just grab the customer. That happened with the Byju's and all. They are not building the game for 10 years or 20 years, so where there is a lack. Number two, like in my introduction, I just spoke about one term that uh, I have coined, that is forced brand love, and I really stick to that. That companies wants to force the loyalty, like with the loyalty program, so that suppose this how this term came into my mind when I was just as a customer I was shopping with the grocers. Now it is Blinkit. So when I was shopping with the grocers, what they used to do, that if I shop for the 3000 rupees, they used to give the 3000 rupees cash back. So it seems to be a very good scheme. Yes, it is. But then you have to go back to shop again, because I have to use the 10% of those 3000 rupees then again and again. So do I love grocers? Certainly not. But they are giving me something that is forcing me to go to the grocers. Someday any other like Zepto came, or some any other funda will come and the customer will go out, definitely. But when I will stick to the any company, when I will say that even Maggie is a Maggie, right? Even Yepi is there or something, but still I need a Maggie. Loyalty programs may not be there for Maggie or something, but there is a brand love. I love Nike, I love thing. So that love, eternal love, is not a one-day game, and eternal love just come gradually, right? If I give you example, I personally admire like what the Zomato is doing. They are gradually building up the culture of creating the customer engagement and all that. In the beginning of our session, Mayank said about the customer engagement. So the more you will engage with the customer, I believe there will be a more appreciation, more love, and when we love that brand, we generally do not switch to any other brand. Even there could be a price war, there could be anything, we love that thing, right? And even not love, we advocate ki no, even I refer to my friends ki you should buy these brands. So to cut story short, the brand should build up the culture or engagement with the customer, rather than just focusing on a short term targets ki okay, grab this thing, increase the valuation, bring the more investors on board, and then something happens and then they crash. They should not be in that particular mad rush.
Interesting, very interesting. In fact, based on the discussion we are having now, we actually got some questionnaires filled by some of our key people itself from the industry. There are certain very interesting questions which I want to put up to both of you. One says, how can companies balance offering tangible rewards and creating value-driven emotional loyalty programs? So we are talking about the tangible and the emotional coming together. How can one actually develop a more balanced form of loyalty program for them, specifically from the customer side?
So I'll tell you, so in my mind, I think relevance of the communication or the content which you're sending out is of paramount importance. Right? If a brand knows that I have an infant in the house, and therefore my requirements are very specific, I need diapers, I need baby food, I need clothing, etc., etc., and you talk to me in that language, that is relevant.
Fantastic.
Okay, if the brand knows that okay, there is a senior citizen in the house, and you talk about products and services for that, it is relevant. But if I have teenage children and you give me an offer on diapers,
Of course.
that's the end of the story. There is no
Relevance at
neither relevance, and then I'm shut to the brand. I mean,
True.
they have no idea about what they're talking about. So whether you call it personalization or you call it relevance, I think that the context of the communication is very important, and that's where personalization actually comes into play. And obviously, it can be done at a scale. You define your cohorts who are falling in that profile or that persona, and you custom make your content basis that requirement. While it may sound very idealistic, but it is practically possible as well. So for example, if I have to I mean, let's now make it a little interactive. I mean, the idea is not for the two of us to only talk. So any ideas how? So for example, I'm a retailer, or Grofers, for example, and you are a loyal consumer who's shopping at Grofers. Is there a way for me to find out how many adults are part of your household?
Definitely to ask questions and.
And nobody, Vivek, nobody wants to answer questions.
So I
I
think,
think there are incentives attached to that answer.
नहीं,
No.
कोई नहीं
I think it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible the way, the pattern of the buying behavior they are doing it. So it depends upon, because there are different sets of people who are buying from a same household, because we know that this particular item is going to this particular household, and there could be a different set of users who are actually doing a shopping. So for an example, let's suppose in my family, let's suppose my father is doing a shopping and it's going to the same house, and maybe he's looking for dal, he might be looking for spices and all. But at the same time, if I'm going to do the shopping, maybe I'm looking more about the cold drinks, maybe the snacks and all. So it bases on that, you can do an assumption based heat mapping about the consumers into the
How
market.
will I know that how many adults are in the house? My
No,
question is,
not about how many adults.
my
but-
question is,
Yeah.
I'm Grofers, I'm Blinkit.
Yeah.
I want to know how many adults live in your house.
No, that is not possible.
Product
That is
cohorts is
So
possible.
maybe I was just saying, if I know how many toothbrushes you have bought together.
So-
Yes,
But-
that's one way of doing it.
But I
that is
normally
also
buy a
an
pack.
assumption. That is also an assumption because
No.
people have a habit of keeping it in a stock. So that is also an assumption.
Okay, let me, but you're very close to the answer. So the way to do it is that toothpaste, not toothbrushes. Toothpaste is something which is a fair assumption that everybody uses at least once a day. Very few people use toothpaste twice a day, but once a day is almost 100%. Everybody uses a toothpaste. Every time you use a toothpaste, you use like 6-7 grams of toothpaste. Now, over a period of time, let's say over 3 years, if you have data of, and how do you identify a household? Let me ask you that also. I'm sure that's not a tough one.
How do I identify?
A household, a unique household.
The address, location,
Address है, mobile number है.
mobile number, location.
So in what you were saying,
Not exactly the mobile number, but yeah, location and address.
the
because-
mobile number is unique, no? So you're registered
No,
on
so
that number.
maybe 3 people in the house have
Ah.
3 different
So,
mobile numbers.
so
but
the
location will
secondary,
be same.
so the primary tag is mobile number.
Yeah.
On the same address, there could be 2 mobile numbers
yeah,
also,
right.
husband, wife, both ordering separately.
true.
But you can still identify that, okay,
Right.
this is one household,
Right.
right? So in that household, if you have that robust data of let's say 2-3 years, you will know that every month or every 2 months,
How much is the consumption?
what is the consumption of toothpaste,
Absolutely.
and therefore, back calculating it, you know how many
So
adults are there.
I
in the house.
remember there was one campaign which was done by, I think it was Tide or Wheel, I don't remember the brand name, but they used to have a subscription kind of a thing where they actually give basis on the shelf life of the product being used in a household. They were actually targeting the household like ki, if you have just completed a 30 days, now it's time for you to buy another pack of
Correct,
thing.
correct,
Because
yes.
that gives an indication about
Exactly.
that how much
So
is the
imagine if
consumption.
Blinkit ties up with a close-up or a Colgate and says that, I will target all households who are buying your competition brand, and I know exactly when they're going to be buying.
Absolutely.
Because I know last purchase was,
Right.
whatever, 45 days back. The toothpaste will last for whatever, 30 days or X number of days. I know when the next purchase is likely to happen,
Right.
right? And therefore, you can design and custom create your marketing campaigns for that. And this model, this template can be applied on various categories.
items, right.
It is not just one particular category.
True.
So,
This will be only true when you're buying only from that platform.
Yeah.
For example, if
Nee,
you buy
wo-
from different platform,
so
that 1 year.
which is why I said, if you have data for 3 years, if you have data for 3 years, those,
I'll give you my example, sir. So sometime I buy from Zepto or whatever platform.
so that pattern will get normalized, no? Over a longer period of time, over a
So
long
then-
period of
then there
time, that
comes
data
a-
will get normalized, because 3 years back also you were either buying from Grofers and parallelly buying from Big Bazaar and also sometimes buying from some other. So that pattern will get normalized over a long period of time. Short duration, obviously, you might miss out.
Then
So if
there
you
is-
have data points which are robust over a long period of time, it will get normalized.
And that's how the loyalty word will come into the picture.
Exactly.
Because-
So only people who buy on a with being loyal to the platform, they are genuinely loyal to you, right?
Absolutely makes sense. I think you have really banged on the concept itself. It's pretty interesting. Over to you, Gaurav, your inputs on this, please.
Yeah. So again, coming back to the loyalty, like I just want to ask the audience, but how do you define loyalty? The basic, like it's a repeat purchase, or is there something else we can discuss about? Like right now we are just discussing if customer is coming again and again, it can be referred to a loyalty. Do companies should also look at some another angle of loyalty, or it is just one angle?
See, in my opinion, today there is no loyalty. Because like what he said that when there is a purchase that he has to make, sometimes he goes to Zepto, sometimes to go to Grofers and all. So I think there is no loyalty.
There is no loyalty.
As an Indian market, I think we are more stuck towards which platform is giving more benefit and how we want to perceive to that. So that's the reason the loyalty is actually shifting. It's not sticking to one particular thing. And that's the reason what Rajat was mentioning about that in a span of 3 years, we have to create a kind of analysis that cannot be done because in Indian market, it cannot stand hold that kind of a visibility with loyalty as a word. So, but yes, in general terms, loyalty is definitely a repeat purchase. Not exactly a repeat purchase, but actually affinity towards a brand. That yes, I like this brand, and for me, this particular product of the brand is superior as compared to any other brand, irrespective of whether I'm getting a economic benefit on that or not. So that is a simple loyalty term.
Yeah. And I think all the intellect is on this side of the table. I want some questions to come from that side too.
Sorry, what do you say to Apple lovers? They are not loyal to the brand?
See, Apple. No. So Apple lovers also have a tendency to shift because they see a different side of it. as
People
well.
are lined up whole day, whole night for buying that phone. I'm not sure.
That's a
That's not a
lifestyle
loyalty.
statement.
Yes,
what they're trying to
that's
do.
not a loyalty. Yeah.
That's not-
So
it's a lifestyle
they're not
statement.
getting any. Of course, they have created that sort of a persona of the brand and
Correct.
the equity that they've created for them. So that's the reason why people are love it.
No, so
Loving it
that's
in
a
service in the
segment.
product.
That's a segment that they have created for the people so that they stick to that particular segment.
I'm not
That's a
sure if
segment-based
that's-
loyalty in that case, I believe. That's a segment-based loyalty.
Huh.
Going to what
Yeah.
Balaji asked, so I think the real measurement of loyalty
If you can open the mic, please, because otherwise it won't go in on YouTube.
So
please.
the real, measurement of a true loyalty is, are you referring the brand to others? Because right now everyone is buying basis on the schemes that they're seeing. Even I am not loyal to Zomato or Swiggy or anyone else. I am loyal to that scheme.
Yeah.
And on top of it, if that scheme pertains to my credit card, which is where this loyalty is, where it becomes super, successful in my opinion would be if I refer to someone who I'm working with, hey, did you see this? And by the way, only they offer this. That is the true measurement. So if a company wants to really check out, okay, if my loyalty program is referral, they should check out how many people are buying back to back, which
that's
is
the
one.
NPS, no?
And then the net
Net-
promoter
net
score,
promoter.
right? So I come from a loyalty background particularly. So you talked about Maharaja Club or King's Club from the airlines. Jet Miles program is something that our team actually built. So we were kind of catching up and understanding, okay, is that just the customer who's coming or is that the agent also referring, hey, you should buy from JetBlue or Jet Airways to, achieve this level of points or something like this. So that could be another way of measuring the loyalty.
See, I can give you one example. Like for example, we go to any restaurant, and if we are a Chinese lover, so generally we always have a preference that we want to go to, let's suppose, Burkos or any such thing. And in that case, we always tend to go to that same place because we like that food, we like that, we actually like the taste and everything, right? So there it comes a loyalty because there we don't go and see ki kya offer chal raha hai, what is the current today's offer and all. We go over there because we like the ambience, we like the food and everything. So there the loyalty comes, and that's how we also refer that place to our friends and the family that yes, if you want to have a good Chinese, you can go to that particular restaurant. So there I see a simple loyalty terms because that's how we want to recommend to people.
So that I think it's more of, preference, like you prefer Chinese food. So the brand doesn't matter to you. You can go to any Chinese restaurant. It's the,
By course.
No, no.
It matters.
So it matters to me. So if I am a Chinese lover and I like the food of burger, so I would like to go to that place again and again, irrespective of whether I do have a offer today or I don't have an offer. But I like.
I think I would like to contradict that one. So honestly speaking, there are a lot of restaurants which are there, which are listed on Zomato. Their rating might be fantastic, 4.4. But even the HRX, for example, Eat Fit, every different Eat Fit restaurant have a different taste.
Right.
So you can't really predict based on the customer segment that whether they're going to go only to the HRX depending upon the taste of a particular outlet.
No, my point was different. My point, if I like a food from Burgos from a particular restaurant, so definitely my loyalty is towards that particular restaurant because I like that food irrespective of any offer, and that's how I will also like to
Okay.
prefer that particular restaurant to somebody else.
That's preferential loyalty in that case somewhere down the line. Got it. I think Abhinav made a valid point about the fact that it's the program that or the exclusivity which really matters. For example, I was at one of the restaurants day before yesterday and I was searching Dine Out and Zomato which is offering a better discount. Once I found out which card was being accepted in which one, so they said HDFC gives a better discount compared to an SBI. I automatically switched to the other one. So it is very simple. It is very, very simple.
So
I
what
feel
are
the
you loyal to
consumer-
in that
Yeah,
case,
yeah.
right?
Sorry?
Do you know what are you loyal to in that case? None of the brands. You're loyal to the offer.
Absolutely.
Right, correct.
Absolutely.
Beauty.
Absolutely.
so
Please.
I think what Abhinav sir just said is right. The consumer looks at the value that he's getting, talking about the loyalty programs, they'll always see the value they are getting right from the program. The kind of point distribution that is a part of the program, right? And on the other side, I think they also look at the emotional value, which comes from the experience that the consumer gets from the brand every time he or she associates with the brand. I think those are the two things that come into play when we talk about consumer loyalty.
Absolutely. Great. I think we can move a step
Mike,
further.
I would also like to
Yeah,
add something
please,
here.
please.
So when we say loyalty, I think no one is loyal. Let's be honest, no one is loyal. Loyalty can be shifted.
I think we need to
So the way
differentiate
I-
on what segments.
Exactly. No, but like Abhinav said, so his loyalty shifted based on the offer, right? So loyalty can be shifted, but if you really want to see few examples, I think what loyalty, and there also you have people who shifted their loyalty, but for example, let's say Hindustan Times and Times of India.
True.
So people who like reading Times of India will never shift to ST and vice versa. That's what loyalty is,
Absolutely.
right? Where money doesn't matter, even if let's say ST increases their price, Times of India still remains, let's say, hypothetical on a lower side, and still people continue to buy ST, is where loyalty is, right? So that's where you don't shift your loyalty. Same goes with, let's say, Coke or a Pepsi. Now, if a guy who can drink both Pepsi and a Coke based on the offer, he's not loyal to any brand.
Absolutely.
But then if a
Absolutely. I
person
think
who
very well,
Yeah.
valid point he has made of this. It actually makes a lot of sense when you compare Pepsi and Coke together because people who are loyal to Coke will only drink Coke whether there is scheme or no. Of course, your taste buds definitely have a different angle to each and everything. I think that's a very valid point you have made. Apart from that, I think loyalty should be more about retaining a customer rather than making his preferences as such. So if Coke has a particular set of customer, how you can retain them for a longer time? Now if you have a Campa Cola offering similar taste in the market, it is going to be a big challenge for them.
I'm sure
otherwise.
Rajat sir can add to it. I think as Dabur, that's what they do, right?
Absolutely.
So as a brand, the objective is how do you retain your customer in your own fold and ensure that the guy doesn't move out,
True.
right? So that's what loyalty is. And as a brand marketer, it's our job, or as a loyalty experts, it's our job to ensure that how do we retain our customer first, as against focusing on acquisitions.
Absolutely.
No, so as you rightly said, it's not about offers, discounts or anything or promotions. At the core of it, the product has to deliver. True. Right? If Burkos makes fantastic Chinese, then whether they have a loyalty program at all or not, it doesn't matter. You will still go. I'm sure you would have heard about this restaurant called the Big Chill. Any time of the day, on a weekend or even on weekdays, it's always full. They are not on Dine Out, they are not on Swiggy, they are not on Zomato, nothing. Full price, no discount, nothing. No credit card offers.
True.
But there's a queue outside. So that is true.
And I'll quote another example.
Same
in the-
stands true, I think, for, as someone just mentioned,
iPhone.
Apple.
Yes,
They don't need
exactly.
a loyalty program.
Yeah, so like
So
I
it's
work with a
delivering
tire
to
brand,
the-
right? In tires, MRF does nothing. When I say nothing, actually nothing. They have no dealer loyalty program, no consumer loyalty program, no influencer loyalty program, whereas other companies are doing the same thing. So MRF doesn't believe in that because the product is like that. The product speaks for itself.
That's why they say, loyalty is not the, substitute of bad product or services, right? You have to have
No, absolutely.
right, absolutely good product and the services.
Yeah, no, so-
And then loyalty is on the top of that.
Exactly. So loyalty is like the cherry on the cake. Your cake, your basic core proposition, your product has to deliver and be superior than competition. This loyalty is just a tool to engage. It's a tool to get some business insights. It's a tool to be more future ready, etc., etc. It is not really to, make a differentiator between two brands. That's not the case. Maybe at some point of time, maybe it did deliver, but today certainly not.
Absolutely. I think now we should go too much the educational segment about the artificial intelligence playing a big role in the loyalty program when it comes to customers. What are your views on this? How do you think it can be better utilized in terms of retaining the customers by the connotations and the statistics of artificial intelligence? Please.
Okay, so my take on this is, like, we sit in 2024, AI has become a marketing gimmick more than more of the use thing. As a customer, if I talk about, not as an expert or something, I went to buy a fridge. So the salesman said, "Ki there is an AI in the refrigerator." I said, "What?" What the AI will do in the refrigerator? He said he will analyze your pattern of opening the door, closing the door. He will customize your this, that. And I explained the same thing to my mother sitting at the home, ki there is an AI in the fridge that will understand your pattern and all. So there is no charm, I would say. They are just putting up the AI in everything. AI in ACs, AI in refrigerator, AI in laptop. Like, AI should be there, right? And I saw one idea in the Shark Tank, AI in the pressure cooker, right? You put up the things and that AI will understand your pattern. You just imagine, ki I want the lesser spice in my chole bhature, my wife needs more spicy, there is a fight going on every day. How AI will understand that fight? So then I was fascinated with that, and I tracked that idea. Now the idea is not working. Obviously, Indian market is different. Having said that, AI is the future. Yes, this is the beginning. AI has to come. AI has to come in the marketing or all spheres, even in the education. We fear that, yes, tomorrow, maybe 5 years down the line or so, the things have started that professors will be, like AI professors will be teaching. And yes, we face the challenge in the classroom also, like now the kids do not need anything. They have the chat GPT and number of tools that gives them the things. Now coming from to the marketing side, customization, yes, that will increase incredibly in the future. Like if I watch anything on the OTT platform today, I still feel there is no customization. I watch the Hotstar and I see the charisma ad that has no use to me, and that may change with the help of AI, that what kind of customer I am. Like Rajat said, ki, okay, how to judge that my home has 4 adults or 2 adults, what I am watching. So more accuracy will be there when the AI will be in more hands into the marketers. But I personally do not like much the idea of AI, because over customization I think will bring down the things, because even today if we go to the Instagram or the Facebook or something, suppose I am searching about I just saw one video of Vada Pav girl on one day, right? And every day the Vada Pav girl videos has come to my Instagram or Facebook feed. So I just start feeling that every world is moving around this Vada Pav girl, and world has concentrated to these kind of gimmicks. So my brain gets stuck to that particular thing, and this is the negative side of influencer marketing as well. So the more the AI will be, the more customization the world will move towards to, that has the positive but has the negative also, that will give the power of controlling the minds of the customer to some hands. So not much positive about it.
I like to add one more thing. So like specifically there are 2-3 types of marketing which everybody knows. One is of course the famous one called the need-based marketing. When you search for something and automatically lots of ads will pop up which are talking about the same thing for you. In that case, how do you think that loyalty can be a big game changer? Because say for example today I'm searching for a tour and travel package to XYZ country. Suddenly I get plenty of these travel companies coming on my Facebook, on my LinkedIn, on my Google, wherever I go. How do you think it's going to impact the loyalty program as such? The loyalty initiatives as such?
Like we have discussed a lot about loyalty, many things can come across to you, but you will choose the packages of those tour and travel companies. Those have the high rated, those have the good, maybe you have seen somewhere, you have some subconscious mind counter to that. Maybe thousands of ads will come that will irritate you, but at the end you will choose only that particular package, either through the price sensitive, because you are price sensitive, or maybe you have heard or someone has referred. So more information will not bring the loyalty into the panel. That's
Awesome. Everybody agrees to this, or are there any contradictions? Awesome. Great. Now,
Yeah, I'll just add one more thing. I think what Gaurav said is right, that AI is not going to function on its own. So it has to be a mix of AI, a BI, and an ML. So artificial intelligence, business intelligence, and machine learning, they all need to work in sync. Only then you will get some kind of a success, if at all we have to drive anything in the loyalty space.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
also I think I don't think, Gaurav, sorry, I disagree here, that it's not a gimmick any longer. I mean, AI is the reality. It is for us
That's the
to-
reason why I opened the question for the house to answer.
No, it is the sooner we accept it and the sooner
Exactly.
we are part of the bandwagon, it's better for us, because the world is adopting it. Now, I'll share some practical examples how we at Dabur and various other companies are using artificial intelligence. So, one use case, for example, in packaging design, so I'm, let's say, launching a new brand of hair oil. I want to, or even an existing brand of hair oil, I want to revamp the packaging. Typically the process is I go to a design agency, give them a brief, this is what I want to do, this is my target audience, blah, blah, blah. They will take 3 weeks to come back with a brief appreciation meeting. And then after that, some designer will be assigned, and after another 3 weeks, the first set of outputs will come, which will be completely off track, which will be not meeting the brief at all. The process will actually go on for at least 8 to 10 weeks till I have at least something which is within the scope of what is expected. Come in AI, ChatGPT and various other tools which are there. I give 20 commands. The output is 30% there. First cut, 30% is there. I further refine the prompts. Gradually, the machine learns, and if I'm working on the same brand, same category, etc., it also keeps accumulating. That's what machine learning is all about. So, over a period of time, the output becomes much sharper, much better. What it does is, it's not that I blindly just create packaging designs just from the machine, but it gives me a head start. So there is still a designer, and maybe in this case there's an in-house designer, not even an external agency, who's now using this tool to get a quick output, which is as per the brand manager's brief, and then he or she refines it. 30% there, 40% there, some human intervention, some, practical, checks on mandatories, etc. You fine tune the design. So you've saved at least 6 to 8 weeks of, communication, understanding, and all of that. Yes, the output is not 100% there. It's far from there, but you save time, you are more efficient. The designs are very unique, right? The designs are very unique, very differentiated, but it is still a process. It's a path where, a lot of brands have already started working on it, and Dabur is one of such. Within FMCG, we are amongst the first few brands which are doing it. Then there's content creation. While, on your Facebook feed or your Instagram feed, and I'm sure all of us can recognize the AI voice.
Absolutely.
Right? We know it is artificial voice, it's not human voice. There will be a time, and maybe in some cases, already people are getting fatigued of that. There is fatigue. I mean, I don't hear the same male voice every time. It is templatized. That accent, that, that dialect, etc. Speed and, the way that, that machine sounds is now creating a fatigue. I don't want to listen to that. The videos are again, templatized, and the same kind of feed keeps popping again and again. Yeah, so that is all machine made. So obviously, I'm sure, a lot of brands will very soon realize that this is not going to work. However, there is a flip side to it. There is a positive side that, when you analyze good performing content, if you know that, this 6-seconder works well, there are tools available which actually cut down those 6 seconds into multiple frames and say that this is the high point where, whoever has seen this content for 4 seconds or 8 seconds or 10 seconds has actually clicked the buy now button. So that's my bottom line. If my content is delivering the business requirements or results, I can actually use tools which are AI based or ML based, which will help me recreate successful or well performing, good performing content. So there are use cases where it is actually being used in such fashion, and I've given you two very distinct examples. One where perhaps the life is very very short, and perhaps brands will have to keep evolving and innovating. Whereas at the back end there is a lot of work which is happening, and brands are actually utilizing machines and artificial intelligence to create content which is all human content, but they know that on the 7th second we should show the product. On the 9th second there should be let's say a call to action.
The patterns are pretty much defined.
The patterns are defined, and it is all customized to a certain persona, to a certain shopping platform, to a certain social media platform, and that's how the complexities get managed. Otherwise, humanly it is not possible.
Not possible.
I mean, no agency can actually manually do it.
Absolutely.
I want to add a very small point. Sir, you gave an example of fridge, okay, with AI. I'll tell you exactly where AI is being used in that. And yes, 50% of time it's marketing gimmick to understand, yes, something is AI. So I recently went to a retail store to see a fridge for, a family. They said, sir, there is an AI in the fridge. And literally I chuckled and I asked, क्या इसमें AI है? तो उसने कहा, sir, मैं आपको एक example देता हूँ. He brought in 2 bananas in front of me. One was good to eat, one was not good to eat. We kept in the fridge. In 5 minutes, the fridge alarmed there itself on the screen, hey, you have 1 banana which is no more eatable. So, you're right, yes, not every fridge will have this, but yes, slowly, as Rajat sir mentioned, that AI is learning, so do we. And there will be opportunities where you will see the areas where AI will be much more smarter than taking those decisions that we will be probably judging around. So, just a small input.
I'm hopeful that now if you have seen the Jaguar new logo, that has not been created by AI or created by AI, I don't know. That has been...
No, it has been done by a
It has been done by an agency.
Yeah.
a big creative
Must have
agency,
used
honestly.
AI.
For sure.
Must have used AI.
For sure. Okay, now, yeah. And now we will be wrapping up the session in the next 5 minutes, but a very important term which has been misused over the couple of years now, it's called sustainability, specifically when it comes to the customer loyalty. So I would like to open this question to both of you. It says, how do brands measure the ROI of incorporating social and environmental goals into loyalty strategies? It's a very tricky question though, because I think it's something very difficult to in terms of measuring the ROI perspective when it comes to.
No, I didn't understand the
So
question.
it
What are you
says-
saying? So ROI with respect to sustainability.
ROI with related to the, incorporating your social and environmental goals when it comes to being more sustainable in the market.
But that has nothing to do with ROI, no? I mean, that's a theme which you are,
Absolutely,
Leveraging.
absolutely. But of course, I mean, if any company spending even a penny, always think of getting some ROI out of it. Taking
No,
that
so,
into
okay,
consideration.
So I have a very different take on that.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
sustainability is just like there's sustainability, there's something called greenwashing. So it's hugely misused, and as you rightly said, all top listed companies, whether in India or internationally, you open their annual reports and there will be at
Yeah,
least 4 or 5
100%. True,
pages
true.
dedicated to sustainability.
Yeah.
ESG and pollution and water recycling and the works. This was the case exactly, let's say 20 years ago, when CSR was a concept and it was new to the market. Everybody was saying, I'm educating the girl child, I'm sponsoring this school, and I'm doing this and that for charity. All of that was greenwashing, we all know that. Now coming to, so in my mind, the linkage between a loyalty program and sustainability per se is not there, but yes, it's a concept, it's a marketing concept, it's a theme which a lot of brands want to latch onto, just because the younger audiences are far more aware.
True.
Maybe my parents' generation never cared about recycling. Today, if you ask me personally, given a choice, I mean, I was feeling thirsty, so I opened this bottle, but I don't think I've bought a bottle of Bisleri in the last 5-6 years. I haven't bought a bottle.
So I think that is a gimmick in that case, because if you are selling a cigarette and saying that for every cigarette we are planting one tree, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Correct. So, you're selling poison.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, see, so sustainability is something which, is a concept which is relevant for a certain age group and a certain, profile of consumers. And more than profile, it's actually a age group phenomena. So teenagers, millennials, youngsters, to some extent even first-time jobbers, they are very conscious on sustainability. So irrespective of whether you have a loyalty program or not, I mean, it is immaterial. If you are targeting that profile of consumers, then you have to be very, very conscious
Absolutely.
on sustainability.
And in that case, in loyalty.
Sir, if I could request you to kindly speak in the mic, because otherwise it won't be audible for our audience on
Sorry.
YouTube.
So in that case, for the loyalty program, will you include the sustainable products? Because you have young brands that you're catering to.
Huh.
For example, Dabur Honey is a very young, but still perceived to be a young brand altogether. So for those customers, if you want to give a loyalty, some rewards, do you think that you will be bringing in
So,
sustainable
okay,
products?
Dabur may not be the best example, but a lot of brands like P&G, for example, they have multiple shampoo brands. They are very strong in the shampoo category. They actually, and this, I'm talking about the US, not in India, they actually incentivize consumers to get empty bottles of shampoo, put it back into a recycling machine or a collection machine, and they give you some cash back or some rebates. There are also cases where, I mean, we as a company, Dabur, in the Middle East, we've actually installed a oil vending machine. Get an empty bottle of Dabur Vatika, a machine will actually, there'll be a promoter who will actually, look at your scalp type and hair type and prescribe a type of hair oil for you and customize the blend. So how much of olive oil, how much of coconut oil, how much of jojoba oil, depending on the kind of hair and the kind of scalp you have, that mixture will be created in front of you through that machine, and you put that machine, like a Coke vending machine, you put it in front of the dispensing unit and the oil will get poured into that bottle. So so we've layered it. I mean, the core thought is sustainable. We want you to get back your empty bottles and we'll customize it and give you an offering which is personalized for your use. But coming back to your question, Young brands, yes, they are certainly doing it. A lot of D2C brands talk about organic, talk of, no harmful chemicals, no preservatives, nothing. And the packaging itself is made from recycled material. So the younger brands, more of the internet, the D2C brands are actually doing it. They are front runners in that space. Legacy brands have some catching up to do. That's the harsh
They have to
reality.
catch up because they're the next generation of buyer.
I know there are few hotel brands as well, Rajji, who are actually into this, and they're awarding points for not asking for housekeeping stuff, and not asking for bed sheet to be changed. If
Right.
you're doing that, the
Yeah,
hotel
yeah.
brands are allocating more points for that. So that's
Yes.
why of course, targeting, like you rightly said, it's on the the age
but-
group that you're targeting, right? It's
Yeah,
very important point.
So in my mind, I don't think there is a strong connect between a loyalty program and the idea of sustainability. They're independent.
It's a whole brand or a brand
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
So it's a brand positioning or the proposition
yeah.
which stands for sustainability, irrespective of whether you have a loyalty program or not. Yeah, in some cases, yes, there could be some form of reward mechanism which can be, which could be laid on the loyalty program, but it can work without it also.
Yes.
Great. Your views, Gaurav, just to wrap up. Final thoughts.
Just to wrap up, I would sum up that I agree with Rajat totally. And to sum up that, Bharat do not care about sustainability, but yes, India does, where they can afford the sustainable products, because when you say sustainable products, it has a higher cost. And when there is a higher cost, definitely you have to sell in a particular kind of market. Having said that, sustainability is a good thing that the brands are coming up. Even if you see the trend of Shark Tank, there are a number of business ideas that has talked about the sustainable products, and the various researches have given a validation that people are ready to pay more if the products are sustainable. But the idea is more. Who will pay more? That is questionable, and how much people are ready to pay more. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. It was really interesting discussion that we had from the customer angle perspective too. And I just came to know from the team that it's Mr. Rajat Mathur's birthday today. Wish you a very happy birthday. Thank you so much for being with us on such a auspicious occasion as well. So we would like to give a small token of appreciation to Mr. Rajat Mathur and Mr. Gaurav as well. So I would request you to kindly bear with us for another 1 minute. So thank you.
Thank you.
We can have a group photograph, sir, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Please, आइए sir. Thank you so much. So the next discussion is going to be interesting. Again, we're going to talk about from a perspective of employee. That's one of the things which have been talked in last couple of months, because retaining employees is again a very big question mark these days. So the session says building a culture of loyalty, effective strategies and trends in employment loyalty program. And for this particular session, please allow me to invite Mr. Saugat Chatterjee, CEO Abe Health. He is the ex-Apollo, ex-Dalmia, ex-Pyramil and ex-Dabur.